Hi friends, today we'll discuss an important current affairs issue, that is 5 years of goods and services tax and impact analysis. GST tax structure, it is a comprehensive indirect tax structure. That indirect tax structure has completed its 5 years. So we are going to study the impact analysis of this GST. So in this video I am going to deal it into two parts, part 1 and part 2. In the part 1 I will explain the positive impacts of the GST on overall performance of economy. The positive impacts that I will deal in the first part, and in the second part I will discuss about the challenges and way forward. The challenges and way forward, these two things will be discussed in the second video. Okay. So, goods and services tax. Before I enter into goods and services tax, why this 5-year analysis? Because it's completed 5 years. Why only we are doing analysis for 5 years? Why not for 4 years? Why not for 6 years? Or why not for 7 years? We are doing for 5 years. We are doing for 5 years because government has put a target that within 5 years, my entire tax structure will get streamlined and we will reach to the level of the annual revenue growth, the compounded annual revenue growth rate of 14%. That means within 5 years after the implementation of the GST, the process becomes sustainable and every state started growing at a rate of 14% in their revenues. That means this GST is going to bring a considerable change in the revenues of the different states and the nation within 5 years. So that is the reason why we are taking 5-year term. So in these 5 years, what happened? In these 5 years, what happened and how this GST has performed and what are its positive and as well as the positive impacts and as well as challenges. See, what is GST? GST is nothing but goods and services tax. Goods and services tax. Goods and services tax. Earlier there are different taxes and it is an indirect tax. It is an indirect tax. Earlier on goods and services we are having different number of taxes and this tax rate vary from state to state. Union and state both concurrently imposing the tax on these goods and services. That means there are around 17 indirect taxes are there in India. Around 17 indirect taxes are there in India, and apart from that around 13 different cesses were imposed on the goods and services, and these taxes and cesses were both of union and state. And there is a concept called cascading effect. That means tax and tax. If a product starts with a raw material supplier supplied 10 rupees and he brought that raw material, another raw material 20, another raw material 30, so now it is 60, and he will add some value, again it will go to the next level, again it will come. So that means a product in its production process, it moves through various stages. In every stage, whatever the tax that I am imposing, it will continue till the end. That means here I am imposing the tax, here I am imposing the tax, here I am imposing the tax, here I am imposing the tax. That means I am not only taxing the value but also I am taxing the tax. So this we call it as the cascading effect, and this GST is going to remove that cascading effect, and you are not going to have these many tax rates, you are going to have only one single tax. So this is, we call it as goods and services tax. Goods and services tax is an indirect tax goods and services tax is an indirect tax, and it unifies all the existing indirect taxes into one tax that removes the cascading effect on tax and tax. So this is about goods and services tax. So when actually we introduce this goods and services tax, actually the implementation of goods and services tax started on the 1st July 2017, but the discussion about this goods and services tax was started in the year 2000. In the year 2000, the discussions were started. The Prime Minister Economic Advisory Council has members have recommended for this GST, and after that we have appointed various committees like FRBN committee, and after that UPA government came to power. They said like we are decided to bring the GST. They have brought the legislation, but unfortunately they could not pass it, and finally the act was passed in the year 2016 by passing the 101st Constitution Amendment Act, because Constitution Amendment is necessary to bring the goods and services tax. Why Constitution Amendment is necessary? Because earlier the union and as well as the state, they are having the individual, they are having the separate powers to impose the indirect tax. Now we are subsuming the powers of both union and state, and we are creating a unified structure. For that you need a constitution amendment, and we have done it in the year 2016, and consequently we brought the law in the year 2017. We brought the law in the year 2017. Now the law which we have brought in the year 2017, the law which you have brought it in the year 2017, it has subsumed various taxes of both union and state, that too only indirect taxes, that too only indirect taxes. And these taxes are, let it be like excise tax, the sales tax, state level VAT, luxury tax, octroi tax, additional duties excise, duties on excise, additional duties on customs, special additional duties on customs, like there are various taxes are there. So we have subsumed those laws into this GST, and here you can divide that laws into that taxes into union government taxes, state government taxes. You just read it separately. Okay, what are the union government taxes that are subsumed into GST, what are the state that are subsumed into GST, that you can study in the class when you are learning the economy. But in this current affair video, I am not getting into the details of that. See, when we have brought this GST, when we have brought the GST, we have given lot of promises. That means we said like, no, this GST is a very revolutionary thing, and in the words of our Prime Minister, it is something, the goods and services tax is a path-breaking legislation for new India. So he is aspiring for a new India, and this legislation is a path-breaking legislation for new India in the words of our Prime Minister. But anyhow, we have promised many things. We have promised many things. Now, after 5 years, are we really achieved those targets? And what was the performance of goods and services tax? Because lot of doubts or lot of apprehensions were there in the minds of state governments, people, some economists, because GST was implemented in many countries, but wherever we have implemented the GST, in everywhere it is not a successful program. In some countries it got failed also. So that is why we have lot of doubts about this GST. Now we are looking into how this GST has performed in the last 5 years. Are we streamlined, or have we really benefited the intended results which we anticipated 5 years back? Okay. Now first of all, I will write what exactly the objectives that we stated when we are introducing this goods and services tax. The objectives are, there are many objectives are there, just I will write down. First of all, removing cascading effect. This is what we said, it removes the cascading effect. So if it removes the cascading effect, then automatically the prices comes down. The prices comes down. And one thing, this goods and services tax is a destination based tax. Destination based tax. Destination based tax means tax is levied only at the end. Only at the end. And intermediate stage there are no taxes. Ideally there are no taxes. Practically they will levy the tax, but the tax will be reimbursed. Ultimately the burden is on the last person. So there is no cascading effect. There is no tax at the intermediate stage because it is the destination based tax. The tax is on final. So we said like prices come down, there is no tax on tax. Second one we said the tax compliance. Tax compliance. The tax compliance. The tax compliance. So the tax compliance increases because it is completely one single tax, and that too the tax process is completely in online. You no need to pay multiple taxes to the multiple authorities. There is only one tax. That one tax is common across the country. So the tax is more compliable. That means people can comply easily and everyone will file the returns and everyone will pay the tax. That is what we said. And even the logistics cost come down. This is what we said. Logistics cost come down or reduces. Now the thing is, before GST we have introduced a tax called value added tax. GST is an advanced version of value added tax, or you can call it as GST is nothing but it is a nationwide VAT. Now the problem with this VAT is, in the state level it is okay because when we were in the VAT regime, it even reduces the cascading effect, it even brought some complaints. But the problem is when you are moving from one state to another state, there are lot of the hurdles are there. Physically they used to verify what are the products that you are bringing, and lot of checkpost and state level barriers are there. And with this GST you are going to remove all these things. So that is why the logistic cost is reduces. The vehicles are the vehicles which are carrying or which are transporting the goods, they are not supposed to wait at the checkpost of each and every state, because we have designed the system in such a way that it's not necessary. So this is another thing, logistic cost. Next, fourth one we said tax collection increases. Tax collection increases because the tax compliance increasing, so that leads to the collection of the more and more taxes. Because these simplified taxes will also boost the economy. The simplified tax will also boost the economy. That means your GDP increases. If GDP increases, automatically it leads to the more amount of tax collection. Why GDP increases? Because you are bringing a simplified taxation regime, and if the taxation is simplified, that too it is common across the nation, then definitely investors comes easily to invest. That is why boost economy will boost, GDP increases, and even tax collection increases. It reduces the logistic cost of the business, and the tax compliance increases, and it remove the cascading effect, thereby reducing the prices, and that leads to control of the inflation. Next, another important thing is, as it is the completely online structure and the perfect tracking from one stage to another stage of production till the level of consumer, this entire transaction can be tracked. That is why tax evasion will become difficult. Tax evasion become difficult. This is another thing that we promised. Tax evasion will become difficult. And because of the simplified tax nature, the tax base increases. That means now when you are tracking every transaction, that means everyone must comes under this tax net, and that too the compliance is easy, so the tax base automatically increases. That means the number of people who will pay the indirect tax, that is GST, will increases. Tax base increases. And another important thing is cooperative federalism. Because this is very important aspect, because earlier the state and union, they are having the power separately, but under this structure both center and state, they came together and they have pooled their sovereignty of taxation power. That means state has lose some power to tax, center has lose some power to tax their own item, and they came together and combinedly they decided. That means some people are so skeptical about whether this type of structure will really work. Tomorrow, if there is a difference of opinion between the center and state, then state may come out of that structure. It may lead to failure of this entire structure. That is what some people thought. But it has proved like it is so successful model. So this also we said like it is the best example to the cooperative federalism. But now we are looking into that whether this cooperative federalism is succeeded or not. So when we introduce the GST, these many things we said. These are the objectives of goods and services tax. These many things we said like, okay, we are going to bring considerable change in different aspects, and ultimately it benefit the economy, and also it improves the lives of the people, and it smoothen the administrative structure. Okay, so that is what we said. Now we will try to analyze on these parameters whether we have done better or not, what is the performance level, and what are the challenges that are associated with it, and also the way forward to this goods and services tax. Because before you are assessing something, you must know the targets, for what purpose it has started. So based on the targets or based on that objectives only, you can analyze the impact of GST. Okay, now see, the first one is, first the main thing we said is this GST is a single tax and that is common to the whole nation. That means we used a word called one nation, one tax. This is the word we used. This is the phrase we used, one nation, one tax. This is the tagline actually we used. One nation, one tax. That means you don't have multiple taxes at the multiple states. So you will have only single tax for the entire country. This is what we said. But do we have only one tax across the nation? Here some things you need to understand. Here you don't have the single tax rate, but you will be taxing the same item at a same rate across the country. It is not the same rate for, all products. It's not the same rate for all products, but it is the same tax rate for same product across the country. So this is the difference that you must understand. When I say one nation, one tax rate for one product across the country, not like for all the products only one tax rate. Then how many tax rate we are having? We are having total 8 slabs. You call it as 8 slabs. And what are these different 8 slabs of taxes we have? It is 0.25%, 3%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%, 0% exempted goods and services. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are the 8 different slabs we have. So it is not a one tax for all the products across the nation, but it is one tax rate for one product across the country. So that means it's not one nation, one tax for all the products, but it is like this. So this is one thing that you must understand. So we said it as one single tax, but we are end up in 8 different slabs. But the ambition or the entire the theme or the philosophy of the GST is, instead of having these 8 multiple rates, we should end up with only one rate. That is what the true GST. But the point is, you cannot bring it today. There are some problems. I will explain it later. This is one rate. This is exactly the philosophy of the whole GST. So one rate, one nation, one tax. That means one nation, one tax. There is only one GST. But the point is, the GST rate is not same for all products. Second one is when it comes to the tax collection. So we said like tax collection improves. We said like tax collections will be improved. This is what we said. If you looking into the tax collection in actually it was introduced in 2017. I am writing for 5 years, 2017-18, 18-19, 19-20, 2021, 21, 22. These are the 5 years. Okay. Now I am writing the monthly average collection. Monthly average collection. Here it was introduced in the month of July. You must understand. That means April, May, June. First quarter has gone. You have only implemented from second quarter onwards. But still, the average, the collection, monthly collection of this goods and services tax. This goods and services tax include CGST, SGST plus IGST. So, central goods and services tax, state goods and services tax and integrated goods and services tax, and there is a compensation cess also. Compensation cess. You are already aware about that compensation cess. Now, in the year 2017-18, the average monthly calculation is 82,294 crore. 82,294 crore. When it comes to the year 2018 and 19, it increased to 98,114 crore. When it comes to the 2019-20, it is 1,01,844 crore. 44 crore. When it comes to 2020-21, it is 94,731 crore. If you are looking into 2021-22, it is 1,23,608 crore. See, this is a monthly collection. Monthly collection. Okay, you can find out year one. See, if you are looking into 82 to 98 is an increase, 98 to 1,01,000 is an increase, but there is no much increase. 1,01,000 to 94,000 there is a decrease, because you are all aware the reasons for this 1920 to 2021, because it is of COVID-19. Again in the recovery phase from 94,731 to 1,23,000, it's a more than 30% of increase. More than 30% of increase, and 98 to 1,01,000 is also not a good number, but the initial hiccups are there, because this is a reform. People, that means all the producers, wholesalers, retailers, they must transform into a new structure. So initially it has lot of hiccups are there, lot of challenges are there. It's a reform. Reform will always brings a creative destruction. So that has created some problem. Initial years there was a hiccup. After that, because of COVID-19, we got some problem. Otherwise this trend could have been continued. But anyhow, ultimately we are end up last year per month 1,23,608 crore. This is 30% increase. This 30% because of this lower base, but still there is a considerable progress in the increase. And if you see this financial year, it started in the month of April, May, in the month of April. So 2022-23 financial year, in the month of April, the collection was 1.68 lakh crore. 1.68 lakh crore per month, and after that 1.41 lakh crore, after that 1.45 lakh crore. On average, I can tell you 1.51 lakh crore per month. So if you observe the tax collection, at one point of time in 1 month, the average collection was around 83,000, 85,000 crore, but per month it reached up to 1.68 lakh crore. That means it's doubled. It's doubled. It has not happened in every month, but there are some months initially it was 80,000 crore, 83,000 crore, but we reached to 1,68,000 crore. That means it doubled. It has not doubled in every month, but if you see the last, and I can tell you in the last 12 months consistently our tax collections are more than 1 lakh crore per month. In the last 4 months, our tax collection is more than 1.4 lakh crore. This shows that, these numbers are showing that the tax collection in India because of GST is increasing. Initially we have some problem because of COVID-19, and the reform problem are the structural issues, but now as the economy is performing well, the taxation is also increasing. So that is how we have reached to the level of 1.68 lakh crore. In the last 3 months, the average is 1.51 lakh crore. So the tax collection is increasing. tax collection is increasing. So that means we are doing good on this front. Next, see, the next parameter is it will ease the burden on small companies. Burden on small companies. See, actually when we have started this GST structure, some people say like, no, this is a purely an IT based platform, because you need to file the returns in IT. So small companies may not withstand this technological transformation. It is very difficult for them. But anyhow, in the GST we have mentioned it clearly that some units are exempted from this GST. So here a company whose annual turnover, if it is a goods manufacturing thing, then annual turnover should be 40 lakh. If it is a service oriented company, it is 20 lakh rupees. So these units, that means below 40 lakh and below 20 lakh are exempted. That means they no need to follow this GST procedure and all. They no need to file a complaint. They no need to pay any tax. That is the first thing. Second one is there is a scheme called composite scheme. So composite scheme means it is not so burdensome of the whole GST structure. The process is simple, the taxation rates are also very simple. You can file the returns easily, you can pay the tax easily, you can comply the taxation provisions easily. So under this composite scheme, the goods manufacturing companies, if their annual turnover, if it is goods manufacturing company whose turnover is less than 1.5 crore per annum, and if it is services, it is 50 lakh per annum, and for northeastern state there is an exemption, this is 75 lakh. So but anyhow, here you have to pay 1% of the tax, here you pay 6% of the tax. That means the different tax slabs that I mentioned, they don't apply here, only 1% flat, 6% flat. So why we have done? In order to make this process so simple for smaller companies, and if they file a return once in 3 months, it's fine. Next, the another one is the MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises, whose turnover is less than 5 crore per annum, then they can file the return once in 3 months. So this is how it is easing the burden on small companies. So big companies, anyhow, they are having the technical proficiency, they are having their own accountant and finance team, they can do. But small companies, the burden is very less, the compliance burden is very less, it is easy for them to follow. So that means now after bringing the GST, now we are taking this GST to the lower level, to the level of small and micro companies, so that they can also follow this tax structure. So that means tax compliance on smaller companies is very good, that we have achieved. Yes. Next parameter on which we will assess the performance of goods and services tax is improvement of logistics, because I said logistics cost will come down. So why logistics cost? Because earlier the different states are having the different VAT structure, but the point is when they are moving from one state to another state, they have to pay the tax. And for that they have to be stand in queue, and you don't know how much time it will take. Physical verification, everything happened, and some perishable commodities, they may perish. That is why even they used to construct the warehouses here to store. Whenever their turn comes, immediately they will load it and they will cross the border. This is how business used to face the problem, because business entities are having units in different states, but now with this GST, there is only one nationwide tax, and because of that these checkposts on the interstate barriers are completely removed. And according to some analysis, because of this removal of interstate barriers and even checkposts, the barriers and checkposts, the time involved in the transportation of the goods, they have saved around 33%. 33% of the time saved. Now the goods are reaching to the factory or reaching to the outlet at a faster rate, or it is a raw material reaching to the factory unit reaching at a faster rate. So that is one. So logistics cost. So time is reduced by 33% and the whole supply chain optimization happened. So supply chain optimization. Now you no need to wait anywhere. You can simply directly come. You can directly move from anywhere to anywhere. That means from any state to any state. So supply chain optimization happened and it has become possible because of the GST, and again in that there is a system called e-way bill system. So because of this e-way bill system, you no need to stop at the border check post and toll gates. Okay. Next one is the the millions of liters of fuel is also saved. Millions of liters of fuel is also saved because the trucks are waiting here. And moreover, the important thing is corruption reduced, because here most of the time, if you bribe the people, they will allow your trucks to enter. So that corruption has reduced. So when I am looking into this logistics performance, because of the removal of interstate barriers and checkposts, the time has saved by 33%, some millions of liters of fuel got saved, corruption reduced, state borders are removed, supply chain optimized because of e-way bill system. So this is one great achievement. Today the industry is so satisfied with the way how we are implementing the GST. So there is a seamless transportation or access to the any state. So that is another important thing, logistics. Next, the another important thing is robust IT system, very important. Robust IT system. Robust IT system. See, robust IT system means there is no manual collection here. Everything is processed only in an online. So you just go to the computer or laptop, open the GSTN site and get an ID, and after that just try to file the return and submit and pay the tax in the online itself, get the e-way bills in the online, get the clearances in the online. So it is a completely a robust information technology system, a robust information technology system. And there is a network called GST network. This is something dealing about this whole GST system, and the automation efforts what we have done, we are so successful in implementing this automation effort. Now we are dealing only in a technological space. We are completely dealing in a technological space. Even sometimes some people are saying like it has pushed the industry into a technological platform. Earlier even some small industries, they are not aware about these IT tools and systems. Now they are also learning about this IT and all, and it has given boost to the both the IT related goods and services and as well as the professionals. So in that way also it contributed to the economy, because computers, laptops, printers and the one who is having knowledge about computer and even financial experts, everyone is getting employment. Next, another thing is the simple online system. The system which you are talking about, it's a very simple online system. When I say simple online system, it's not actually when we have initially started, it was very difficult because people, they may not understood, or because of the technical glitches some problems are there. But now you can file the return in a simple manner, because once you looking into that how they are filing, immediately you can understand it. So we are always simplifying the process of the filing the returns of the GST. And another important thing is one format of form for all the states. So I can tell you one format for all the states. See, suppose I am a person doing my business in 4 states. Let it be Kerala, Karnataka, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh. Just assume Himachal Pradesh. When I am doing my trade in 4 different states, earlier pre-GST regime, there was a VAT in each and every state, but the point is I have to file the different returns in different state. The tax rate in the different state is different, the rules and regulations are different, the procedure is different. I used to do differently, but now under a one roof called GSTN, now with one my single ID, because rules are common, but I am filing it in different states, because the point is I am maybe I am processing here, or I am selling some amount is here. So my processing involved in 4 states. So definitely I have to file it in 4 states. But when I am filing the 4 states, I can file from a single point and I can file it in a single format. I can file it in a single format. I no need to file in multiple formats. I need to file it in multiple states, but in a single format. So it will be very easy, and that too I will store the entire data in a single format. So the single format data, having the single format data will also helpful in auditing, getting auditing easily. So auditing has become simple, filing the returns in different states is simple, because a single one format, a single format in different states, and simple online technological platform GSTN. And another important thing is, in this robust IT system, the tax evasion, because I already said one important, the objective of this GSTN is, here in this you can track every transaction, and because of the tracking it is very difficult to evade the tax, that I said. So now the production process has started from here, and it has moved in 4 different stages. Now everyone is filing their returns in online, and under the GSTN network everyone is filing, and I'll match everyone's invoices, and thereby I'll pay the input tax credits, that you are all aware, input tax credits. So now here in between, in these 4 stages, if something mischief happened, and if someone has not filed the return, or if someone has filed an over invoicing or under invoicing, then definitely you can find it out, and that has become possible because of BFA. So BFA is a technological thing, like BFA is nothing but business intelligence fraud analytical tools. And by using these BFA tools, we are successfully identifying the people who are evading the taxes. I am not saying like they are wantedly evading. Some people may be evading because of their ignorance or because of lack of awareness, but anyhow this robust system is identifying those who are not paying the taxes, or those who are undervoicing, or those who are overvoicing. Those things are identified, and because of this system we are successfully containing these fraudulent means, and that is why every year we are improving our income. That means GST tax collections are improving. Initially these systems were not so strong, but over a period of time, according to our experiences, we are making it so strong. Now today it has become very difficult for the evaders to evade. So this is another important front on this robust IT system or robust IT network. Okay. Next, and we wanted to bring another important thing is, in this robust IT system, initially we have started this online return submission. Here we have started. Later we started like when we are okay. If it happens inside the states, online return will work. But when it is moving from one state to another state, online return is compulsory, but physically you have to verify whether the goods are moving to this state or some other state. For that, again, if you stop them physically, it will there is no use of GST, because again it leads to the same problem. So for that we have brought an e-way bill system. So in e-way bill system, we will track whether the goods are en routed from state A to state B. That means whether it is moving from state A to state B, that we can identify through e-way bill. Process has become simplified. That means now without any obstacles, the goods from one particular state, they can go to other state, provided if you have this e-way bill, no one will stop you. The next one is e-invoicing. Now we went to the stage of e-invoicing. What is this e-invoicing? When you are generating the invoice itself, when you are generate the invoice itself, it will be authenticated by the goods and services tax network. Why this authentication is required? Because you will getting the input tax from the supplier. Suppose I am the supplier supplying 100 rupees of raw material to a person, another person, and here I have paid the tax of 20 rupees, and when I receive 100 and I will add some value to this, let it be 20, total it has become 120. Suppose if the tax on this is 10%, suppose if the tax on this is 20%, just assume, that means tax is 24 rupees. Already he has paid 20 rupees, that I will get a reimbursement, and extra if I pay 4 rupees, that's fine. I no need to pay 24 rupees again here. This is the beauty of GST. But when this happen, when this invoice and this invoice matches, earlier what happened is, when this person filed the return and this person filed the return, we used to match them. Now what we are doing is, suppose if it is belonging to the different state, he is supplying, whether this goods worth of 100 rupees are supplied to this particular state will be happen through the e-way bill. And in this e-invoice, what you will do is, when you are generating the invoice itself, it will stores in the GSTN. You no need to get it physically. Immediately when he filed the return, it automatically matches with this, and automatically you will get that 20 rupees. That means getting of input tax credit has become very simple with this e-invoicing. So you no need to wait physically to match. So when you are generating the invoice itself, it will have an authentication from GSTN. So this is another important thing, like the online returns, and after that e-way bills, and after that e-invoicing. Next, the next front is tax compliance. Yes. When you looking into the tax compliance, I can tell you the tax base, that means how many people are paying this tax. This cannot be paid by individuals, only companies and firms they will pay. And earlier it was 60 lakh, now it increased to 1.2 crore. That means it doubled the tax base. Because it become very difficult to evade the tax, and because of this there is a behavioral change also we have seen. So what is that behavioral change? Now people want to be tax compliant, people want to pay the taxes, people wanted to be law abiding citizens, and in this entire production process of stage 1 to 3 to 4, and they wanted to have the relation, or they wanted to make a trade or commerce with only those people who are complying in the GST structure. Otherwise you don't get this input tax credits and all. That means it is completely streamlining the entire society, and we are bringing the entire thing into this formal network. That means formal system. So now the people themselves behaviorally they are changing, and even they want to do the trade only with those people who are tax compliant. That is a very good achievement that we can say, and this tax base has increased from 60 lakh to 1.2 crore, doubled. Next one. And freedom from frequent visit to tax department. Earlier, no, before GST, you need to visit to the each and every time to the tax department in order to get the permits, licenses and other approvals. But now everything is in online. That is why it has become so compliable. And even input tax credits are happening easily. Input tax credit, just now I explained that 20 rupees is input tax credit. So that is transferring easily. And even refunds. Normally these refunds happen when you are exporting, or when there is an inverted duty structure. So in both the cases I will explain inverted duty. In inverted duty means, I will just simply, suppose raw material I brought, and on this raw material let it be 20% of the tax, that means 20 rupees he paid. Now you got 100 rupees, for 100 rupees you purchased and you added 10 rupees, total is 11, and your tax percentage on the final product, just assume only 1%. 1% means it's only 11. That means already someone has paid 20 rupees, you need to pay 11. Already someone has paid 20, you need to pay 11. That means when you take this 20 rupees Actually, you are at the surplus. That means those who are taken this 20 rupees, this 20 rupees he has already paid to the government. This 20 rupees is with the government. Now you need to pay only 11. That means government has to reimburse the remaining 9 rupees. Suppose if this is something like, sorry, this is 1% means even 1.1 only. 1% means 1.1 only. That means you will get remaining 19 rupees. Suppose if the tax is just assume 20%, then it will be 22 rupees. 20 is already there. If you pay 20 rupees, it's okay. But in the case of only 1% of the tax, 1% of the tax, then okay, just take 10% of the tax, it is 11. It is 11. Someone has already paid 11. So you must get 9. That means when the tax rate on the final product is lesser than the tax on the intermediary, you should get money from the government. That is what inverted duty structure. So this reimbursement will happen in case of export and inverted duty structure, and this is also happening at a faster rate. That means input tax credit and as well as the refunds. So this is how it is happening on the tax compliance front. That means here also we are doing better. Next, benefit to the consumers. Benefit to the consumers, because we said cascading effect reduces the prices. So that is how it lead to reduce the prices. Ultimately it reduces the burden on the consumer. There is an inflation in the economy, but I will come to that inflation when I am explaining the challenges. See, the average tax has come down. The average tax rate has come down. The average tax rate. So today the GST's average tax rate, that means if you combine the average tax rate of GST, it is around 11.6%. Around 11.6%. Next one is, according to the Finance Ministry study, every month the consumers are saving 4% of their household income. At least 4% they are saving in every month. So that means it has benefited to the consumers also. So you can say like it is a successful model. And when it comes to the revenues to the states, initially there was an problem like states are going to lose, because it is a destination based tax. Producing states will lose and consuming states will gain. But anyhow it has benefited the states, because for first 5 years the Parliament of India in the legislation, they have given a guarantee that at a rate of 14% of compounded annual growth rate of this GST revenue, if anything is deficient or if any gap is there in any state of this 14%, they will be compensated. They will be compensated from GST compensation cess. Okay. So that is how no state has faced any problem, because everyone has given an assured income of 14% of CAGR, the GST growth rate. And even during the COVID-19, when the whole economy has come to standstill and there are no enough revenue collections, then immediately Government of India went for a back-to-back loan of 2.69, that means 2.7 lakh crore without burdening anything on the state government. So the state's income is also assured and consumers are benefited, tax compliance, tax base is increased, and also a robust IT system has helped a lot, and even logistics costs improved and smaller units got a benefit, and even the tax collections are improved. And one more thing, last thing, on cooperative federalism. Another thing is on cooperative federalism. So this is a very successful model of cooperative federalism. Till now we have completed 47 GST council meetings, almost all except 1 or 2 meetings. In almost all the decisions are taken on consensus basis. That means it's not like a voting. Though there is a voting structure in the GST, like center is having 1/3, states are having 2/3. In order to take a decision, you must get 75%. But almost all the decisions, barring 1 and 2, all the decisions are taken at the consensus, taken by the consensus. That means everyone agreed to that, and commonly they have taken this decision. Okay, so this is something about the cooperative federalism. Cooperative federalism. So almost all the, and even when we are implementing this GST structure, both state and center they are coordinating, both state and state they are coordinating, even center and state they are open to engage with any industrialist if they are having any problem. That means it enhanced the engagement, it has given consumers such, it has given that industries such a level of comfort, and state and center among themselves they are taken decision based on the consensus. So this is the best example of this cooperative federalism, best example of cooperative federalism. Okay, so based on these parameters, so I have given around 8. So based on these things I can tell you like GST is a successful model. So whatever we have said when we are starting, and on various fronts, from industry to input to consumer to cooperative federalism to the taxation system to the robust IT system to refunds to ITC to, so everywhere we are doing good, and you have seen the amount of tax collection that we are doing, So I can tell you like these are the positive aspects of GST, and after reviewing after completion of 5 years. Okay, and in the next video I'll deal about the challenges and as well as the way forward. Okay, thank you.
Amrita IAS Academy.